Where are we at? Just doing some of the hardware stuff. So I've got those into place. They're all cut. Nothing's tightened up yet. They're just sitting where they're supposed to be sitting. I'm trying to get some work done on the stick. So I'm cutting it, putting it into place loosely just to see how everything's going to work. Got this little doodad set up. I put a couple holes in here for now. Made it a little longer with this extra hole just to give. I wasn't sure about this sideways motion here. So I wanted to make sure that I'll have adjustment here if I need to move it over and get a longer throw going there. This piece is supposed to hang over. I didn't want to glue that down yet until I find out exactly what's going on there, because hanging it over is dumb. It should be solid under there, or I might have to put a block in here, which isn't shown on the plans, to tie that down. There's a couple lines I've got measured on here, there and there. That's where the two screws go through to hold everything here. Now the one screw would be here and one screw would be here. This screw would be in, and there's a platform that goes across with the other screw here just to hold all that good and tight. Now the question with that is, does this go here or does this go here? I'll get to that in a minute. Got the floor on. These ones are glued in place. I'm going to get it in line so that this will come across to here. It'll go back to that one and then come back, and that's for the ailerons. So I've got those loosely in place just to see where they're going to go. So back to this. Front position, outside position, or outside and inside position. If you look on the plans here, there's the stick. This clearly shows it on the outside position. There's a screw going through here and the screw going through the axle portion there. Outside position. When you look at it on here, this says front view, and this clearly shows it. If we're looking from the front, this is the outside and this is the inside, and it shows it on the inside. So is this front view looking to the front, or is this from the front looking back? When you usually say a front view, you're looking from the front. That's like this is looking from the top down onto it. This is looking from the side. So if this is actually the front view, they have the control arm, or whatever you want to call it, the arm there, on the inside, and this would be the outside. But on this plan, they've clearly got it on the outside and the inside. I'm not sure that it makes a difference. That's why I just wanted to place everything before I start finishing up everything where it's at. I want to make sure everything fits properly. One issue I can see with it being on the outside, this motion might be limited by hitting the wall there. So if this comes all the way forward and this goes back that way, it might hit the wall here, where if it's in the interior position, you would have more play. So I'm not sure. What has everyone done there? All right. Just getting the rudder attached. Question. When we're putting this on, do you attach to the fin permanently and take the rudder off to cover it and use the bolts on the rudder? Or do you attach the rudder with the bolts permanently and then cover this and put the holes through on this side? Doesn't really matter, I don't imagine, but just curious as to what everyone does with that. Or do half and half, both. Leave the hinges out totally, then cut a slot in the fabric after everything's covered, and then pop the holes through the fabric and put the bolts on the outside. I'm going to go back and watch Elgie's again and see what he did for that, and go from there. But there's the rudder in place. It's cool to see that on. Haven't done much of anything else. Been working like mad, but that's where we're at. The attach points here. I've got all the bracketry made up. I am going to paint these with the black primer so that you don't get any glare off those. I don't know what I'll do with these little guys. I like my red anodizing, so I might do that. And the part's small enough that it'll fit right in there. Some of these bigger parts, I barely have room in my anodizer. I'm only using little containers to do the anodizing, so this won't fit. This would barely fit. I'm not going to worry about the torque tube there. I'll shine that up probably and let it go. Here's the things I did with a 3D printer. I don't know if you can see that. There's enough light here. These little things I made with a 3D printer. And they really work well. Can you see them in there? That was a good idea. When this is clamped on here, that gives a nice flat surface. If I could focus it. It gives a nice flat surface for that torque tube to go through. And that's the only, is that focused? That's the only real surface with the stick, is that one, or these two little things that sandwich it in there. And when that's not, without these little things, it's just a small surface that touches all the way down the center line. So that doesn't give a lot of stability. With these little 3D printed things, it's good and solid on that tube. It gives pressure all the way around the tube there. So I would do that for those people that are doing something with a torque or a stick and it's only one screw holding everything together. Just build a little thing like that. And that holds it nice and tight in there. It's not tight now because nothing's tightened up, but I think that was a good deal to do that. Okay, just a word on everything here and the seat. Now the seat, I'm assuming goes from there to there, and from there it goes up to there. I put it in place, and that's pretty upright for me. I like to lean back a little bit. And I like to have a little bit more room for my butt. So if I build the seat a little longer, I can have it at a little bit more of an angle just to get more comfortable in there. One other thing, we've got all this is going to be connected from here to here and then from here to here. I don't like the idea of the seat ending about here and having that all exposed to things that can fall down onto it. Has anyone thought of coming out a little bit further with the seat, have a bit of a cutout in the seat for the stick, and building something over top of all this mechanical stuff that can get jammed? If something falls out of your pocket, gets jammed in there, then you're hooped. You're panicked, you're wondering what the heck's going on. If there was just a cover over everything all the way along, and that's why I'm thinking if the seat was out a little bit further, then went straight down over top of that, you could hide all that, have it under the seat where it's not going to get in anyone's way. Has anyone done something like that? And then from the other side too, you've got a bunch of doohickeys there to send the elevator arm goes back over there, so there's a bunch more happening over there as well. If all that was covered by the seat, instead the seat ends here and it exposes all of this stuff to things that might fall onto all your inner workings that's going on there. If the seat came out a little bit further and covered all that up, and then you just put a little cover over top of it so nothing can get into the workings of that. Or is there something that covers that? I haven't got that far in the plans, but from what I see, there isn't.